morning from sunny and warm South Dakota. Back in shorts and a t-shirt. We got a pretty busy day planned. We're starting out at 1880's Gold Mine Train, and then we're going to Jewel Cave, Crazy Horse, Custer State Park, and then finishing the day off at Mount Rushmore. So it should be a pretty long, maybe not long, pretty action-packed day. Just pulled in here at the 1880's Gold Mine Train ride. We're about between 30 and 45 minutes early, which is what they recommended. We stayed in Rapid City last night, about a 40-minute drive up to the region where all the tourist stuff is. This is the same area where Mount Rushmore is, Crazy Horse, all that stuff within a couple miles from here. So we're just coming in here to check in for our 9 a.m. train ride. The name of the car we're in. I'll know it when I see it. This is the one we're in, the Harney Canyon. It's open air, it does have a roof. But it's nice out today, so it should be a good ride. It's about a 9 to 10 mile ride each way. Takes about an hour, and they have to stop at the other end and fill up with water again. Black Elk Peak, the highest point east of the Rockies, 7,244 feet. We just pulled into Keystone. We actually have a round trip, so we're here for about 15 minutes and then we'll get back on.
It didn't seem like an hour. It really did.
I'm not sure if they're moving to the other end or not, but they are down here filling up this water.
Oh, I should take a picture.
Yes, it's smiling pretty all right. I can take it. There we go.
What are they doing?
We're good with trivia.
Within months,
Right now we're
there were
pulling out of
thousands
Keystone
of miners,
Station, headed
mule
back to Hill
skippers,
City.
dams, gunslingers, and
Remnants of an old tungsten mine.
while the train pulls into Hill City, please
I'm all
stay
wet
seated until we have come to a complete
from the
stop.
blowdown.
As you step off the train,
Items at very reasonable prices. Next to the eatery is a large red brick building with a steel roof. That is the restrooms. The depot is next. If you wish to go to the depot. And the museum is on the far end of the parking lot ahead of the locomotive. It's been our crew's pleasure to...
Next stop, Crazy Horse.
Holy!
Here's the view from the side as you come in the entry gate. This is not a national park or a national monument. They've taken no money from the government. Got a TP display here in the visitor center. It's pretty cool. They have their fire in the middle where they would sleep. Looks like they got buffalo hides down. They have a quite extensive museum and visitor center. They got restaurants. This is what it's supposed to look like when it's done. 1/34th scale. 1/34th scale model. Progress through the years. 48. 60.
Big Bell the Third, the next
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you.
Também não pode nem agora é só no tô passando no céu.
અહીંયા
તો જ મજા આવશે.
જોઈએ આ ભાઈને પાડી લેવું.
આ એમનું પાટે પછી.
After a quick stop here, we are on our way to Jewel Cave. Some of the old equipment they've used on display. That was a real quick visit for us. They have quite an extensive visitor center, museum, restaurants. The biggest one of any place we've been so far. But this isn't, of course, a national park or national monument. This is private. But they do let you bring home a piece of rock. I got my rock. Mia has her rock. Carrie has a rock. Mylan didn't want a rock.
Mylan had a small one in her hands.
Jewel Cave National Monument. Alright, we're here at Jewel Cave National Monument. Just looking out the museum. We're a few minutes before our tour. Gotta book your reservations ahead. Luckily we did, because they're turning a bunch of people away.
There's only 7 of our best.
Pretty cool little museum. Should be tools used to explore different rock gem examples. Talk about the bats. A lot of bats here hibernate.
In South Dakota's tallest freestanding elevator, so let's give it up for that little fun aside there. I'll be honest with you, I don't actually really know what that means. I'm from New Jersey originally. Our elevators go up into the sky, not down into the ground, so I'm still kind of adjusting to that part of it. What I can tell you is in just a moment when we let it with you see here, we're going to have reached the upper cave lobby. That's where our tour is going to start. We're all going to exit out and to the left, head down the hallway, all the way towards the door. Leave me just enough space for the door to open up, but don't go through it yet. And please don't step on the metal tray that you see on your left-hand side. Don't walk on it, don't climb on it, don't touch it. I promise you're all going to get tray time at the end of the tour. Almost heaven, huh?
Almost.
I live not far from there. I'm over here. This door right here. There's a reason for that. Jewel Cave is a breathing or barometric cave. Large volumes of air flow in and out every day depending on what's happening with the weather up on the surface. But because this elevator shaft is not a natural entrance to the cave, it was built by the Park Service, it would affect that barometric element if we were to leave it unhindered. Too much air would be flowing into areas that it didn't usually. It would be blowing up through that elevator shaft. We don't want that to happen, so all those doors are installed in an effort to minimize the negative or unnatural effect of that barometric pressure. Well, for the majority of you folks, this platform is for you to use, but those stairs and those stairs are off limits.
Wait, these stairs?
No, the ones you're on are fine. Yeah, you're all good. But I appreciate how promptly you wanted to get back on the right side of things. That is important to me. So guys, for the duration of our time down here, like I said, please feel free to look around. But again, off the top right there, you have that dog tooth, and down here you have the nail head. Nail head is what you really do see the most of. There is a large amount of over on this wall over here, and there's a lot more back over here. And I'm going to point out both of those formations a little bit closer in a little bit. What a whistling sound, and that intrigued them. So they started making their way along the ridgeline, and they found a hole in the side of the hill with air flowing out of it, nice cool air, and that whistling sound was coming from that hole. So they did what? Please just watch out for that rock. Watch out for me. Thank you. They looked inside, they saw things that were kind of shining back at them with their rudimentary kind of candlelight, spotlight that they had. So they threw that back on there, they blew that hole up, they went to look around inside, and what they found was, in fact, all that calcite crystal, which, while very pretty to look at, is not much in the way of monetary value, unfortunately, of appropriately mapped and discovered area, 2 miles that had been even explored at all. And all of that was from out, like I said, about a mile west of here. Luckily for us, in the late 1950s, a couple, Herb and Jan Kahn, moved here from out east. They were avid climbers. They built a humble little home kind of out near Custer State Park. They started climbing out here. They became involved with some of the, the people that were working and living in the area. And the first rural South Dakota winter came around, they realized that it's not really a pleasant place to be to try to be a climber in the middle of dead winter. In talking with a person that was involved with the cave, though, they kind of got introduced to the idea of coming down here. He encouraged them to come along on one of his expeditions. And sure enough, luckily for us, Herb and Jan Kahn fell in love with caving. They spent the next 20 plus years extensively exploring this cave. They're also the reason that the tours come to this room today. It's the reason this is the target room. They came in one day from up above here. They came in through this hole. They discovered this room. And because the Park Service had already been talking about potentially putting in a new visitor center, putting in a new access point to the cave, they said, we really think this is the spot. This should be the target of that new elevator shaft. So they dropped a pin right here in this rock, this survey marker. And then they moved all the way back out, all the way 4-ish hours by caver standards, all the way to the historic entrance with all those line of sight measurements, all of their hand-drawn maps of what the cave system looked like. They got back out to the surface over there. They used all of the topographical information that we had on top. They worked their way back this way. And a hole was drilled from the surface down through the earth, like I said, about 234 feet. And as you can see, Herb and Jan Kahn were pretty good map makers because that hole right there is the bottom of that borehole. You can see they were off by about 3.5 inches over the course of that mile. So they were pretty spot on with what they were up to. Like I said, this room then became the target of the elevator shaft that we built in here, and it is where the tours still start to this day. They discovered the entire scenic tour route. They mapped that route out, suggested it to the Park Service. They were integral in the success of this cave. Yes?
How far down are we?
Currently 234 feet. All right, so Herb and Jan found the cave, found this room, onward and onward. That kind of brings us to today.
Still
and that is that these expeditions still take quite a bit of time. It's quite an undertaking, quite literally.
Changing all the time.
The people are sometimes down in the cave for 4 days and 3 nights at a time. They have 8 hours to get out to the furthest extents of the cave. They spend the next 2.5-ish days exploring new areas, finding new things, mapping, doing all the appropriate measurements, things like that. And then another 8 hours plus to come all the way back out. And everything that they bring in has to come back out with them. Every single thing. Remember, there are no facilities in the cave. Everything comes out, yeah. So it's a lot of effort that goes in. So that's a big part of the reason that every time they go underground, we don't stop short at all. Anything that they can find, they do go to look at. We still have over 1,000 promising leads for places that we believe we could discover more cave distance.
We just left Jewel Cave and now we're in the Custer State Park, driving the Needles Highway to take us over to Mount Rushmore. There's 3 single-lane tunnels on this road that we'll have to drive through, but it's just a scenic byway. There is a main route to get there. It's faster, but this is the scenic route. Single lane tunnel up here on the Needles Highway. This is called the Needles Eye. What?
I know. Well, okay.
So that was the famous Needles Eye formation, and now we have this impossibly small Needles Eye tunnel.
I want one of them in that pool there. I'll go to the car. You watch it.
These are the cathedral spires. There's 75 spires out here that were actually the inspiration for what would eventually become Mount Rushmore. Iron Creek Tunnel, which is the third tunnel here on the Needles Highway. Gotta wait for a car to come through. And a side-by-side. This is the Scoville-Johnson Tunnel.
Can I put a sticker on the side?
Making our way up the Iron Mountain Highway on our way to Mount Rushmore. We have a scenic overlook here, the Norbeck overlook. Let's see how it looks. It's pretty hazy out, so it might not be clear. Straight over there at the top of the mountain, but it's hard to see because it's hazy. But that's where we're headed.
I see George Washington. What does hazy mean?
How it's not clear out, that's what hazy means. So there they are over there. They do have these binoculars you can put a quarter into to see over there.
Quarter!
Split the road to make it more scenic, so it's like one way, and the other ones are over there.
To the South Dakota Fish and Game Department in 1918.
And now we're joining back with the other direction of travel. This road will do this several times.
With conservation efforts within Custer's. The next ones are
We've got a corkscrew turn coming up,
Hours to do that.
and a one-lane tunnel with a wooden bridge on the other side. Alright, here's another one-lane tunnel. The C.C. Gideon Tunnel. And on the other side, there is a wooden bridge. Corkscrewing under the bridge we just went over. That's pretty cool. Here's another split where the road splits to go one way. Got another one-lane tunnel. And just on the other side, we should be able to see Mount Rushmore. And the next piece of road building engineering design should be a pigtail helix bridge. The first bridge will go left-handed counterclockwise, and the second bridge will go right-handed clockwise. our second bridge. You don't see too many wooden timber bridges anymore. Alright, we just pulled in here to Mount Rushmore to see George and his friends, see if they're still hanging out. Hopefully they haven't left. Crazy thing, it's a parking garage. National Park has a parking garage. They probably have limited space though.
It's not a national park, it's a national monument.
Oh, okay. It's a national monument. I don't know. It is really pretty though. I'll give them that. There they are. We are a lot closer to them, aren't we?
Yeah, mountain roads out.
Really looks like them, huh?
What order are they in? George Washington?
They're Washington, Jefferson, Roosevelt, and Lincoln.
Asher, switch with Bo. Okay, ready?
I'll get this one over here.
At the Avenue of the Flags. Should walk out here to the courtyard.
And underneath, if it's a state, they'll tell you what number state it is. First Delaware's over here.
You got all the states in alphabetical order. And it also tells you what number state they were. And it's got Maryland, 7th state.
What was the first state?
Delaware.
I expected it to
We'll up here and see if we can find our other home.
What was the last state?
Alaska. Okay, then Hawaii. Country roads. See the flag. Take me home.
There it is, 35th. And then we have the Grand View Terrace. They blasted it, chipped, and sawed away 900 million pounds of stone.